Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Um, this is number 7 in a series of videos that I'm doing on self healing, thought healing, healing ourselves of various physical and emotional diagnosis we might have. Um, my intent in my series is to do the first half around some informational kinds of stuff, and the second half is going to be more or less about my progress and how I'm doing with self-healing. What I'm working on specifically is hypertension, high blood pressure, and I have heard or understood or have read that people have self-healed, um, eliminating high blood pressure and bringing their blood pressures down to normal levels. Um, in addition to that, I'm working on some anxiety issues and depression and just mental health kinds of things. My background, of course, is around mental health, not physical. I'm not an MD doctor. I'm a clinician that has spent 38 years doing clinical psychology, treating people individually and in groups pretty much all over the world. I had offices around the Pacific Rim, um, San Francisco, Seattle, Honolulu, LA, Costa Rica, on out into the Pacific, and throughout Asia and that kind of thing. So I had spent a lot of time working with individuals from kind of a lot of the world, and everybody gets treated pretty much the same. The way that people respond to stuff is kind of the same as I would have imagined. Because you grow up in a different country doesn't mean your emotions are any different than what we have. Um, their view of family is just as intense and strong as what our view of family is. Their emotional trauma is just as intense as ours is. The way they react to it is the same way that we react to it. So my background is more mental health, emotional kinds of stuff, and that is what I'm trying to focus on. The presenters or the professionals that um, are doing self-healing on the internet and around the world are experts, and they're just scientifically um, adept to treating physical illnesses very, very well. And that's their background, not mine. So I touch on it from time to time, but again, it's not really what I do. I guess in this particular case, I'm using some of their techniques to deal with my hypertension, which is physical, and I'm using also some of that as well as my own stuff to treat the anxiety disorders and depression from time to time. So my last 5 years, in addition to the 38 years that I've been doing on clinical, which ended in I think '08 or '08, I think is when I stopped seeing people clinically. But the past 5 years or so, I've been just doing research every single day, hour in and hour out, on self healing. And of course, it all starts off with, you start reading case histories of spontaneous remission and people that just recover miraculously from near death experiences, for example, stage 4 cancer or heart conditions or whatever, and they're diagnosed and basically told, you're going to die. Get your affairs in order, and um, for whatever reason, which we have been studying, they remarkably recover. And any signs of their diagnosis or illness or disease is non existent. Never had been there, never existed, can't find it, can't prove it. So I found that really interesting, and then starting to follow some of these other doctors and professionals with their lecture series and presentations, I got more intrigued, and then I started thinking, well, why not take a look at the emotional aspect of it and see if that can be self-healed at all. Um, it's my belief. It's my belief that this is the medicine of the future. What they're doing today with people in medicine is great, and by all means keep doing it and follow your doctor's instructions. But I think it's acute care. I think long-term care it's changing or changed, or we're right in the middle of it changing. If you break an arm or get in an accident or you I don't know, get a cold or the flu or something, acute kinds of things, go to the doctor, get treated, get your arm fixed, get whatever it is fixed. But when it comes down to um, decisions of life or death and long-term care, I, I think that aspect of medicine, and I'm not an MD, so this is just a personal opinion. I think I just don't think that's where we're at anymore. I think people are better able to heal themselves. Now, with that, I say, there's a caveat with it, by all means go to your doctor. By all means follow the treatment and procedures and whatever they choose to have you go through. This is an adjunct. This is not meant to be scientific in the sense that, go out and do this instead of that. I advocate you follow exactly according to what your doctor prescribes and requires of you to do in order to have the best odds of surviving. I actually believe that this has cured a lot of people. And if you go on the internet and look around, and I think it's documented that it can happen. So just as I have personal views, I'm not directing you away from traditional medicine. I think pharmaceutical companies make a bunch of money. Doctors make a bunch of money off pharmaceutical companies. Everybody wants to prescribe medicine. Some of the side effects, I think, with hypertension especially, are pretty devastating and they're kind of dangerous. And myself, this past week since my last video, I took it upon myself to go off of medicine. I just had it. Side effects are just too overwhelming, and so I went off medicine, and of course the normal thing that would happen, which I had expected and everybody else, was that blood pressure spiked, meaning it went up for a day and a half, and then it came back down. Now, I've been working on doing my meditations. That's the tool that we use. And again, we keep talking about that, trying to get more and more detail about when is the precise time that the healing can or may occur. It doesn't happen in everybody. And what I found was doing my work through the training I've been learning, my blood pressure dropped finally. Not, I don't want to misquote it. It dropped 20 systolic, 20 diastolic. So that's significant. I was getting a little bummed out that things were not changing as fast as I thought they would change. Well, that entails a lot of stuff about just me and how I'm perceiving things, and it's not the meditation that's not working. It's that I'm not maybe doing the meditation correctly. It's that the way that I perceive things may not be correct as well. But with time, I've always been hopeful that I could get my own blood pressure down to within normal range and treat myself and self-heal. So here's what I think is very, very important and critical. And I don't know, just where it all happens at. Um, we we need to have a clear intention of what it looks like without our disease, diagnosis, illness. Um, we need to have a clear picture of what that looks like without it in our heads. And we need to accept, believe, and surrender that it's possible for you to have a life without your disease. Now, when I'm talking about disease, mental health is also diseases, right? So, if you have depression, that's a disease. If you have anxiety disorder, that's a disease. So when I speak about that, I'm speaking about both physical as well as emotional. And having the ability to accept, believe, and surrender is um, turning over any misbeliefs that you might have to, they call it a higher power, higher intelligence, um, maybe a God, maybe your creator. Um, there's something inside of each one of us, call it whatever you want, okay? And it keeps us running, it keeps us alive. We are not able to, and I'm not going to go through all the, there's a bunch of statistics that they give out on the internet. I don't want to go down and do that and say something somebody else has already said. But um, what is true is that there's not a human person on the planet that can sustain another's life other than an infinite intelligence that keeps us running. If you go into the internet and look at medicine of some sort and understand all the stuff that goes on inside of each of our bodies, we're incapable of doing that. We don't have the knowledge, the understanding, we just don't have the intelligence to be able to do it. There's no doctor, there's nobody on the planet that can keep you alive. When it's your turn to die, there's a higher order intelligence that is now saying your time is over. So are you running that? Are you pumping the blood every minute? Are you pumping the blood every hour? Are you producing the genes, the proteins that are required for you to have an existence? Are you consciously doing that? Are you subconsciously doing that? No. Not at all. Not at all. You're not capable of that. And so having a clear intention and then being able to, this is one that's kind of pretty common, being able to communicate with that higher intelligence. Now, again, whether you call it God or creator or higher intelligence or whatever, it's in each one of us. And in order to heal, what we find is that everyone that has had spontaneous recovery, self-healed, say they had to get to a point to communicate with who's giving them life. And that's going to be however you choose to do that. There are some pretty clear examples of how to do that, but that's something you all need to do. The other part of the healing process is being able to have a heightened emotional attachment to the clear intention that you're driving for. So, for instance, hypertension, we're just using that in these videos, this video series, that's what we're talking about. We're not trying to cure cancer or anything here. You need to have the clear intention of seeing yourself without the hypertension and have an emotional involvement in the process that's more than just, I would like that to happen. And here's the part I've been learning. And I think it's the critical part of the puzzle. We can't be angry at people and I don't know, drive down the road and have some road rage or argue with your neighbor or your coworker, say hostile things about the other side, whatever the other side is. We can't ostracize people. We just can't be doing stuff like that. No anger, no hostility. We need to find love to be able to express to people. We need to be able to look at gratitude every single day in our lives. We need to add the element of emotion in a positive way that's empowering and inspiring for the other individual or individuals. Now, if you take intent, emotion, communication with a higher intelligence, and add in gratitude and love and that element. And again, we're focusing this on meditation. So, as we talked about before, beta is just being awake. Okay. Alpha is kind of the state that we usually would get ourselves into for meditation and have this nucleus of stuff I just talked about occur in our meditation. Theta would be even better, where your body's kind of asleep and your mind's awake. But if we can put all of that stuff together at one point in our meditation and be able to repeat it over and over and over, right? If we can repeat that stuff over and over and over, there's a good possibility that we will, as they say, rewire our minds, right? We're going to take out the old neuron connections that are from our subconscious. We've talked about all that before, and we're basically erasing them. By stopping them, not allowing them into our heads, they don't have a chance to stay connected. And we're putting in new healthy things that I just talked about, different feelings towards gratitude and love and people and whatnot. And we're making those new neuron connections. And that's the kind of time that healing can come and find us. So I kind of put both of them together today. That's what I've been working on this past week, and it's been a real struggle. I've really struggled this last week quite a bit, and that's I'm kind of dragging my feet getting this back together. And the other side is that I've just told you about my progress. My numbers have dropped 20 and 20 on both sides. I haven't checked them today. This morning, it's still early, but I'm going to keep track of that for you. And the progress is good. Depression, yeah, time to time I used to feel depressed. I don't even think about that much anymore. The anxiety is, gosh darn, you get this irrational thinking when you have anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and that just triggers all the stress hormones, and then they get all fired off, the adrenaline gets pumping, and before you know it, you're in a downhill spin. So that's been subsiding. I can say that much for it. And the blood pressure will speak for itself as time goes on. I hope you stick with me. This is really good stuff. This is really important stuff. It's stuff you're going to be able to use. If I can prove this on my own in this series that I'm doing, there's takeaway for you guys to apply it yourself. So, lastly, in closing, contact me. jzegar at gmail.com. JZEGAR at gmail.com. Send any questions or concerns or comments to me anytime. I'm easy to find. Phone numbers around everywhere. Give me a call. I don't care. If you have an interest in me speaking or doing some little workshop or talking to a few people or whatever you want, I'll make it happen. Contact me for that. I am self-supporting, so again, whatever you can contribute to my PayPal account is greatly appreciated. That's just at jzager at gmail.com. Thank you very much. I've been getting pretty good response from that. I finally acquired enough money to go to Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop. So people are sending money in. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's amazing. A little bit accumulates, and it's now allowed me to get entered into his workshop that I want to attend to gain additional skills and stuff. So thank you for that. I am self-supporting though, and the only money I get is whatever I'm doing here. I'm not gonna do, a workshop where I'm requiring people to pay money or anything like that. I want to spend my time working with people getting well. I want to inspire people to get well. I want to empower people to get well. And that's my intent. And obviously I need to survive along the way. So I'm looking forward to continuing these. This is number 7. And I don't know how many I'm going to do. I don't know, maybe somewhere in the teens or something like that. By then I should have a pretty good idea if I succeeded or not. And just be completely transparent with you guys with how I'm doing. This is my stuff based on my background in clinical psychology, along with the research I've been doing from other people that I've been learning. So again, God bless everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.